Welcome to the fourth episode of CG Baat 3.0. I am sitting here with a bunch of very talented product managers and people who are behind sort of building the products that the way we do. We are in conversations with Sahibdeep Singh, who's the AVP product delivery, but for me, he's the guy who asks the most interesting questions in the room. Then we're sitting here with Saurabh Kumar Gupta, who's the AVP for user success, but he's the one who pays for us not doing our job properly because he gets 1,000 phone calls for every mistake we make. Then we're sitting with Harpreet Singh, who's the senior product manager. He's building one of the most interesting products that we have at ConveGenius, which is our personalized adaptive learning product, and he's been spearheading it for the last 2-3 years. Then we have Nitya, who's the AVP of one of our most successful products that we have at ConveGenius. She was the one who designed and has led the development of Swift Chat. And last, not the least, we have Snehal Verma, who's the head of engineering. Some of our most interesting problems, especially back-end problems, are solved by Snehal. Tell me why ConveGenius you.
I was completely with e-commerce and FMCG experience. It was in startup when I joined, but not right now. So I did the IPO journey over there. And
wow.
Yeah, I joined.
So you came here for the 1 to 10.
Yeah, 1 to 10.
But why ConveGenius?
Because so by the time I was in the e-commerce space, I was able to do things at scale over there because customer base was very wide. But the impact was not as much in the life of people. I feel that because it was mostly what we are doing. We are selling products.
Yeah.
We are selling face wash or something products. So the impact was not as much. And the problem statements were very common problem statements over there. When I was giving interview at CG, I had conversation with Arnav. It was a very interesting conversation for me. And also, my point of view for EdTech was completely different when I joined CG. For me, because I have seen a company like they're doing directly to customers. They were not focusing on school and something. I also had an initial conversation with my friend. Like he had a startup where he was catering schools. So I was in that conversation with him that is it possible to scale something like this? And then I collided with CG and I saw that, okay, you guys are already doing it at scale. Yeah. So yeah, that was very much interesting for me. And yeah, then I decided to join CG.
How did Sahib get discovered?
I think my discovery in CG is twofold. I discovered CG way back in 2020 when I was applying for a ACT COVID grant fund which was set up by Ashish Dhawan for CSF. So there was an investment thesis which I had to write. So I come from a finance background, DU graduate, SRCC, JP Morgan. So I had quit my job to start an EdTech sort of a venture.
Wow, I had no idea.
Coming from a academic background, I knew how to crack exams. I'm all India rank holders in CA and CS. CS rank 2 in intermediate and CS 15 in final.
Oh wow.
So I had applied for a finance role where I had to write an investment thesis for an EdTech company. I wrote it for ConveGenius because the problem statement was company working for tier 2, tier 3, which is Bharat. I did not get selected there, but I shared my assignment with Shashank on LinkedIn. This is 2020. Then Shashank said it's just an ops role, abhi. Then moved to a B2C EdTech in Hyderabad. It's an Indigo Learn bootstrap startup where I manage strategy and operations. So May 2023 is when that discovery again happened. Then it was finalized. I moved to the central team, came to product delivery where started off with Pratik and then...
Yeah. Do you want to tell your story? How ConveGenius started?
So when I first met Shikhar, there was somebody else who was there who was helping him do the hiring for this role. And I was speaking to her, I was asking her, acha, kitne log hai company mein? So I said, okay, give me Shikhar's number, I'll talk to him. And then I spoke to Shikhar, I was saying, why do you work for this company? And then he's like, I'm a co-founder. And back then we were looking at building out the English product for PAL. And that's what Shikhar hired me for after like multiple taxing rounds of interview in person. This is just before COVID, like Feb 2020.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you also joined in COVID. During
Yes,
COVID.
yes. So I joined just after the lockdown hit. So I joined in like first week of May.
So how has your experience been working on SwiftChat?
I think SwiftChat has gone through many journeys, right? Like, I mean, there was a initial like movement from WhatsApp bots to SwiftChat, and then within SwiftChat, we've seen so many phases. It's about the people and the mission and about the reach, right? So, yeah, that's what brings me to work every day.
What about you, Harpreet? I don't think I interviewed you, right? Or I did.
No, you did. You
But
did.
like just for 15
Yeah, just for 10-15 minutes.
Because you already a done deal, I think, from Shivangi and others. After your first conversation, it was pretty much like that. कि इसको आना तो है, इसको तो लेके तो आना ही है.
Yeah, it was not just that. I
Let's
think
just
it was.
make it a little harder for him so that he feels like he deserves to come.
Yeah, I think there was also, it was, I would say, a bit of luck also that you guys needed one person for PAL because there was a new team, tech team that was there, Vietnam team, etc. And you wanted to restart the schools, deliveries, etc. Plus, there was no new product that was to be built. It was an already existing product.
Actually, you probably don't know this or remember this, but that is not true. When we were hiring you, I did not know exactly where you would fit or where you would go. It was not for a particular requirement. The thing that I hired you for, and I still stayed true to that even today, is ki I know how this person, like I sort of figured out in the interview 10-15 minutes and even before that talking to Shivangi, that this person knows how to fly. So we'll be able to do anything. Which is why we've thrown anything at you for the last few years.
मतलब है aeronautical engineer भी तो है.
That's actually good to know. But yeah, I was mostly in EdTech industries which were, serving the top 1% or abroad markets that are abroad, especially US or Australia, etc. I had my own startup also, but again, these were top private schools that we were dealing with, which is like serving only the cherry of the entire cake. But when I came to know about CG and started working here, within first few months, I realized that this is the whole cake and not just the cherry on top. And the PAL product itself is more like the cream of that cake because it's reaching out to students to really help them identify their own weaknesses, right, at a personal level. So I think, plus my own skill set also over the last 10 years being in education and then serving on a product that serves education sort of puts me personally in my mind at an advantage compared to other product people out there. Because learning will always be the focus and not just metrics, DAUs or those things, right? So I think that's where I feel that, okay, this is a great place. I have to be here. And plus, timeline wise, that with the period of time that we are in right now, the AI era, the EdTech era, etc. CG is uniquely placed to make the max impact.
Right.
I don't know if this opportunity will come again in future or not. So this is the moment that we can really make the largest impact. And so that's a plus. When you're serving the top 1% or top 5% of the things, you are in a different problem space. It's not that those product teams do not have any problems to solve. They do, but the problem set is very different. You can impact 1 lakh students there, but you can not impact 1 crore there because a lot of things are already taken care there. You are reaching out to students daily, high dosage. Students can download their app in their tablets. Students can, use internet resources. Electricity is there. Here, you don't even have electricity full time in schools. You are just serving them for half an hour in a week, right? Which is like a big problem statement, big different problem space altogether.
Which is why I'm assuming a lot of our product managers, they would be like having the time of their life because kind of problems that they get to work,
Yeah.
there are no solutions to these problems.
Correct.
That is where even a product cannot solve, right? The program or some other thing has to solve for it. And I think that is where that intervention also shapes us individually. कि हाँ वो problem भी कैसे solve करें to enable our products to go out and make the impact which we are all striving for.
Yeah, I think that's a very important point because having worked in a lot of EdTech companies so far, that was also one of the things that has kept me here because it's the recognition of the fact that this is a solution that is like being solved at from different points of view, right? कि product भी है, programs भी है, और भी layers हैं इसमें.
Very, very real problems.
Well, I haven't thought of building a software that works without internet. Yeah, in the age of 5G, there is a software that is working without internet.
Yeah.
So coming from your thing, I have a story. Like during the COVID time, I visited one of the remotest place of India. I mean, talking about the internet, there is no electricity there. So first we arranged the electricity there. There was no internet as well, and even to use your phone internet, you have to purchase a license because it's nearby a very conflicting nation's border. That was a very big problem for us because we also don't know, like there would be no internet at that place. So at that time, I mean, I was in the guest house and I thought like, what should I do? Because in any way we have to implement the lab there, we have to solve the problems there. So I was just thinking, and then I got an idea like what I can do. I can make my system as a server and do the DB thing. Let us try. If it works, it works. If not, then I will return back to Delhi, then configure the device and again go there. But somehow it worked. So I prepared my laptop as a server and using LAN cable, reverse engineering, I made the outright thing work. So there was a custom solution that was built by us.
Which is crazy. I mean, yeah, that's the kind of solution you need there.
And it was a very emotional moment for me, not because I am doing such things, but for the very first time when we switch on the outright lab, the whole PAL lab thing, the principal there comes, thank me, and her hands were shaking because it was the first time even the principal has touched any kind of digital device.
Oh wow.
Wow.
So I mean, we are creating such kind of impact. Like,
What is the craziest moment you've had here? Let's talk about that.
So there are two moments actually. Coming from the implementation, we were in the border area again, and there was some kind of terrorist attack a few days ago. Yeah. So we and the guy who is taking me, to my hotel, he was telling like on this particular beach, 2 days ago, 5 people have been shot dead. Then I mean, I visited there. I go into the lab. Then there were some slogans written there like we don't agree upon Indian government. We have our own set of rules, etc., etc. And the driver, himself told me that I am one of that person. At that moment, I was, I don't have anything like what should I ask him, what should I do. So I just started to tell him about what is PAL and how it is going to benefit him and their children. So somehow I know because it was a 1 hour journey. I have to do something. I cannot sit there and just think about all these things. So I went there. I implemented the program and then I returned. So this is one of the
Craziest story.
stories there.
That's actually by far the craziest story that I have heard. Yeah. So, because a lot of you work on the products, and I'm assuming that you do get to know the user's perspective somehow. Sometimes maybe it's being on the ground, sometimes understanding it from teachers or business teams or maybe the training teams. Can you recall a time wherein you thought that, okay, my understanding of user tells me that I should build this, and it sort of completely backfired? The user did not like it, want it, used it, ever.
One of the newest systems we are trying to build, it did happen. We were skeptical to begin with but still it was taken up as a project from a business growth perspective, and we were optimized enough कि pilots के through and iterations के through we can hit the right user market sort of a product fit. Because customer was aligned, right? I think that's also a beauty where customer demands something and where we have to think of the user.
Yeah.
Because customer would pay for the product, but if a user would not use the product, the customer himself or herself would come back and say कैसा product बनाया है. Even though we can say कि शायद ये नहीं चलेगा. So it happened, and it was good that that indication came very early, but it stalled that system or a product, if I may call, for a good amount of 8 to 10 months in that particular state, but it got flied in other state. And I think that's also beauty of the products or solutions that we build, because every state is at a different stage of their digital journey.
Yeah.
And even though we say education in general is same across, right?
I think, yeah, to add to your point, so we have already gotten to a third version of the product in PAL side, right? So earlier understanding of PAL with the government was also different, with stakeholders was also different. Schools and teachers also visualized personalized education to a different level, with the user, the customer also getting educated as the future comes, right? The older products have to now be stopped. So they may have flown at that point of time, but over time they are not surviving. So you have to innovate and sort of release new features. So if you release a product that was there in 6 years ago, maybe it will stay there for some set of users, but the business growth, etc., may not be possible with that, or the user satisfaction, the expectation of the user has also increased now. So you may have to stop existing products.
I was talking about this to the other tech guys also, but as a backend engineer, do you think user empathy is something that is important in your system designs also?
Obviously, I
Is
can't
it?
deny that.
Okay.
So, if I talk about any system, so backend is a core of any system, because if that fails, the entire product might fail, even if you have a good UI. So if I create a very complicated backend, maybe too much to and fro, and also since we are catering to some places where internet is very slow, right? So I have to look for those things as well, because if there is too much communication and there is a lag, there might be a lag on UI as well because of that. So I have to empathize with any customer or any student that is using my product, because if the flow is not seamless, the UI, even if the UI is seamless and backend is not responding, eventually it would get stuck at any point of time, right? So I have to empathize with students to develop the entire flow of the backend because of that. So yeah, I have to do it. In PAL also we did it, like quite a times we have clubbed the APIs and we have clubbed things so that front end works seamlessly.
Tell me one of your craziest stories here in ConveGenius. I'm very keen to know now, because you also look at things from like a fresh perspective, no?
So
Craziest story.
So first day, I enter the office. There was a punching machine. It was not working. I called Arnav. Arnav came to pick me up. Okay, hi Snehal. I went there. I met the team, and I was like, okay, it's my first day.
You didn't have to punch it.
I thought, okay, it's my first day. It would be very easy going because I would get to know everything right now. So I was sitting, and like after a couple of hours, Arnav called me. Okay, come to my cabin. I went. Aditya was also there, and Arnav said, okay, there is a that we have to take live, and so it was Tuesday or Wednesday that day, and he said it has to go live by Monday. And I was like, okay. And I was not aware of anything, the system, the platform, nothing. And he said, okay, this has to go, and this is someone you have to work with, okay, and you have to deliver it by Monday. It's the deadline. I was like, okay, is it going to happen very frequently? Again, the 0 to 1 everything, the pressure. And okay, let's do it. And then I went back, I had a long conversation, the entire system. I looked at, okay, it's not that much of a work that I have to do. It can be done in a week of time.
Tell me about your crazy story. I'm sure every day something crazy happens.
I mean, yeah, there are multiple. I would choose one where I had to go this. So I had joined, and within 2 months, there was a launch, and the product was off the shelf. We have to dust it, create a new version of it.
Okay.
Nobody knew.
What product was it?
So PAL ICT,
Oh,
ICT
okay.
version. I didn't know a lot of context. I had heard from founders that this is the geography. You have to make sure that this application runs on desktops. There's no desktop version for it right
So
now.
that was the first thing you did?
Yeah.
Yeah.
ICT ready.
Yes.
Oh my God.
So
Man, I'm cruel.
yeah. So I wrote a huge mail that this product is not launchable right now, and there's so much that is already needs to be built before we launch this product. There's backend not there. So we then after that we discussed a timeline, we strategized it, and we made a plan that okay, we'll launch this. Now there came the real part of testing the product, because it was not there. So you had to test. So I had to go to certain towns in a state and I realized the truth that okay, there's no electricity. I thought electricity will come. Power supply will resume. Okay, and we were a whole team of operations folks and us. I took my car. There's a 5-hour journey. We went there and we realized that no, power supply is not going to resume today. Teachers also told that you can wait. It may or may not come. But because it's a long journey, you don't get to go again and again. So we had to purchase an inverter battery. We had to quickly gather around, rent that. We arranged it, took it to school, and asked one of the teachers to stay back. We connected inverter to it, we connected battery, and made all the systems run. And then we tested it in the evening and reported the winning pictures that okay, the software is running, etc. So that's
So the product manager here really means a product manager.
so we did that and then came successfully back, reported back the learnings, informed the technology team that these are the challenges you'll have to solve.
What about Nitya? Do you have a crazy moment working at one of the craziest moments you've had?
Working with Jairaj is like he's such a visionary. Like
Yeah.
he wants everything. Like he'll imagine this whole like beautiful castle. He'll paint a picture for you.
Yeah.
He'll do a demo, and then he'll say कि हाँ ये बना दो, अभी बना के दे दो.
Yeah. That is quite cute.
Yeah.
And that's the fun of it also.
It is. It's quite fun. I mean, he really, like, he's selling to you no
Yeah.
matter who you are. Like, even within the
You
company.
get so sold
right?
on his vision
Yes. Yeah.
that for a moment you also stop thinking about the feasibility of it.
Yes.
And you're like, हाँ,
The
ये तो
same
मजा
happened
आएगा.
at Siddharth's engagement. Me
I-
and Jairaj
I
were
saw
talking. We were talking
I
at
saw
Jairaj.
that. You know, you would not believe this, but that's how I remember you. I told Arnav कि please स्नेहिल से बात कर लेना, कल कहीं वो अपने papers
We were discussing in the entire engagement. We were discussing, हाँ ये भी कर सकते, ये भी कर सकते.
But I think that's one of my favorite things about him as a person. Like, because I spend a lot of time.
He actually makes you imagine like what he is imagining.
Yeah.
And then he has to build it.
But that's because I spend a lot of time with him.
Yeah, I think we all of us do see some part of visionary part of ourselves into him, and he's always 24/7 like that. So definitely relate to it, and so in other organizations I've definitely seen founders are always difficult to reach, or they'll do discussions in closed doors, behind closed doors, etc. You won't know what they have on mind, what's love. But here comes this guy walking past and यार ये बनाना है यार जल्दी करके देख अभी करना देख मैं करके अभी मैंने try करा. So that's it, and there's no hidden thing, right? There's no hidden agendas that this team has to work differently. It's just out in the open challenges, which is brilliant.
What about you, Sahil?
I was thinking which one should I pick up, but one was I think we were delivering for in one of the states. It was the first state where get rolled out. And literally for 2 days printing got stopped because of some flag by someone. And that someone's flag was someone's own nature of being a risk-averse person.
Being a wife, sorry,
A risk-averse person.
risk averse.
Sufficient due checks were made before the printing had to get started.
Hmm.
Because there was always a delivery timeline. There's always a delivery timeline associated to a product that we launch. So those 2 days of printing stoppage was a crazy moment where, as a product delivery person, we had already committed the timelines. But how to de-bottleneck or de-solve, how we can convince this person nothing would happen on ground, let the printing continue. So I think it was Sunday where I had to arrange for a 3 GB device, scan that printed sheet and make sure that QR is getting scanned to convince that person that yes, QR would get scanned even in a user device. So that one day of a panic on a Sunday where I'm searching for a 3 GB device where no one has it. And I think that was a user empathy also you talked about initially.
Yeah.
Teams always have it. It's just, it may not reach everyone.
Yeah.
So making sure that 2 days of time doesn't become a 7-day or even a delivery timeline getting affected. For me, it was initial few months of PD where I realized it's not only about delivery, it's always about the teams who you are working with and also selling them the delivery.
Yeah.
I'll call it as a selling the delivery rather than aligning them with the delivery, because until people are sold on to the delivery, I think I've always believed it takes a village to make a delivery happen.
Yeah.
So
At ConveGenius it literally does. Like there's like an entire village actually working to make something.
right. So I witnessed there. So another crazy moment was when the scan happened on the first day, and right, I was in another state. And to witness that feeling was great.
Yeah.
And it's one of the also proud moment where you relied on your intuition guts and let that fly. That also scares me a lot. How could I take that decision of saying ki kar do? So was it intuition backed? Was it delivery backed? Always reflect that.
Or maybe just pure old simple adrenaline.
I think then it was more of impact back. You could envision अगर ये चल गया तो कितना impact होगा.
Yeah. As somebody who's working in impact and sort of have some relationship to product, what is it that you hold important to you as a design principle? As either a product manager or either as a delivery manager or a back-end designer, what is design for you?
So for me, it would be keep it simple so that it's usable.
So, I mean, coming back to your point, it should be simple and intuitive. Because what I see, there are some designs, there are some kind of website or applications that is very intuitive to use. You just open it and you do the journey, right? If we are making our product simple, intuitive, and we have designed it from the perspective of our user's lens, right? It should be designed for the user, right?
मैं एक level थोड़ा और नीचे जाऊँगा. Simple and intuitive is obvious and is a goal that everybody wants to also achieve. Most people are not able to achieve that, right? I think half the problems that we face today are because we strive for simplicity but are unable to get to simplicity. Simplicity also, a lot of times, especially when you're building products, right, it presumes that there is no system around it. And a system is much, much more complicated inherently also to build for. Your simple design goes out in the dustbin, right? So I know simplicity, yes, we have to strive for simplicity, and yet not all our products are simple, right? I'm sure there is a reason for it, right? So just think a little bit more deeper than that. And I'm thinking of this as probably a tip for everybody who's sort of doing this kind of system work to learn from, or also for people who want to join product teams or who want to be future product managers, bolna simple is the most non-simple thing you can ever say. It's not as simple as just being simple. It never is, right? So I really want you to rack your brains a little bit, and I know this might get into a slightly preachy segment of what you think simplicity really is and how do you really drive it.
I think as a principle, how I'm driven is sophisticatedly simple as a value. So simplicity will always have some sophistication. And as a design principle for me, or in whatever bots, mini apps or solutions I'm involved, it's always a discovery, value discovery. How quickly the user would be able to discover the value of the solution. Everything else is edge case, everything else is what if she does this or they do that. But as a design principle, am I making the discovery quick enough? Is the happy flow intuitive enough to discover the value of the solution? And when I say value, it's basically one or two problem pain points जो वो product cater कर रहा है. वो एक दो ही होती हैं, else everything around that is a narrative. So discovery is the one which I think, at least in my reviews, which I have done, works. And being close to the ground, I also see the solutions where that happens is, even though there might be a friction, even though there might be steps involved, but वो discovery होने के बाद जो sense of, sometimes call it aha moment also. But वो कितना intuitive है? It might take some steps. It might involve some friction. You might be asked to do some 3-4 steps before that happens. But वो discovery simple enough है कि नहीं?
Yeah, I think I also had similar thoughts. Like the affordance or like the idea to the user that अच्छा ये दबा सकता हूँ मैं या ये दबा सकती हूँ मैं, to see that okay, this will lead to some action, right? That affordance should be evident, very evident, right? Ki this is okay, this is something that will lead me to some path, this is something that will lead me to some path.
Okay.
But yeah, it does come down to how do you make the discovery of value as frictionless as possible.
I mean, design should be self-explanatory, I would say.
Is that something that you use for your backend design?
Yeah, so even for backend designs, what we do is we try to keep design in a simple way such that it's easy to read, it's easy to build, right? Because as much as complexity we can add as much as complexity as required, right? But adding more complexity would also mean more maintenance and would eventually affect cost and everything. So we have to keep it as simple and as intuitive, because if I don't keep it simple, we might create a bigger problem for us in future, because that would eventually someday or the other would come back and bite me. So that's where we try to keep it very, very much ease for use and ease to understand for anyone.
You want to share the need to keep it simple, the want to keep it simple, but is there anything that you think is necessary for you to get to that result?
I would say, I mean, if we can minimize the number of inputs or number of clicks for the user, where with a minimum input, they can get some response, some positive response, which build the aha moment that Sahibdeep has said, so that they stick to our product. So this is what I say would be a simple design.
Yeah, like remove the unnecessary things, basically.
Declutter, I mean, the
Declutter,
unnecessary thing,
yeah.
or hide them, or show them whenever necessary.
Right.
For example, if there is some kind of explanation needed, so it shouldn't be evident at the very first place. It should show only when it is needed, right? Whenever the user made some mistake or need some help, at that time it flashes, and then they can just intuitive click on that, and that they get their answer.
Abid, you've been here for a few years now and you've done all sorts of things. I mean, from purchasing a battery to sort of charging a device to sort of also building the new latest version of PAL 2.5, right? also creating a roadmap for 3.0. Have you had your aha moment here till now?
I think.
And what was it?
Partially when I bought that battery, definitely that was a negative aha moment. Aha. But
Oh, that was a
but yeah, that was a oh moment. But no, definitely, I think there have already been multiple aha moments, including I think one of the outcome-based program that we have already, successfully implemented, where we have realized, plus some research initiatives also, that where we have realized that okay, maybe not in the current state, but to some level, personalization to students at school level works to help them improve their learning, or even help them engage with the product, right? I think earlier, this is whenever we have discussed like the product should do this adaptively, product should personalize this, that, and magically understand the user and just bring everything to their face, etc. I always used to have this doubt that is that complicated stuff even needed? Do we really need so much of shosha on the product and make it so amazing UI wise, etc. Where when our students are just right now in a different problem space, they have personalized outcomes. What we are trying to do is counterintuitive, because we are right now solving for personalization for standardized outcomes, while our audience is having personalized outcomes, and they are right now in a standardized learning framework. So you have to build for a personalized learning so that we can help them achieve their personalized outcomes, right? I think that's one of the aha moments that I have had while working on this. Students have their own sort of needs. They might not be learning for what we think they are learning for, right? And creating relatable stories for them to help them, do basic maths, basic literacy, numeracy for achieving their goals in their life is what I think I've realized after coming to CG. Initially it was like पढ़ना तो सभी को है ही, पढ़ते जाओ बस अच्छे से पढ़ा मजे से पढ़ा दो पढ़ लेंगे वो, बट क्यों पढ़ना है सबको वो realization एक important है, and our audience realize it very early. Our audience is very different, right?
Right.
So I think if we, through this personalized learning or through different initiatives that we are doing, Swifty and all, if we can help the user to really help get them what they want in their life through some initiative, I think that's something that I realized after coming here. Before that, for learning for me was like just give a product, they will learn whatever they want, whenever they want, prepare for exams and be done with it. But a lifelong learning with an objective is tied with audience in children's mind. I think that is one big aha moment.
Saurabh, since you lead a team that speaks to teachers day in and day out, and you've also done it like a million times, has there been a moment for you talking to a teacher or a group of teachers that has changed how you look at your products completely? And the same for you also, I'm assuming.
So yeah, I mean, it is in a very early stage when I joined ConveGenius. So because we are much privileged that we have learned, we have our schooling in very good schools, right? My first project was going to, and it is also a different story how I went there. But when I go there, I see the teachers there. I mean, they were but they were at least 40, 55 years old, and they were trying to learn the technology, right? So at that time, I mean, initially I was just like Harpreet, I was like, there would be a digital device, इसको हम content डाल देंगे, and with the content will play in the school environment, student will learn, and and we get the information, data, etc. But when I went through that particular training, I get to know about those teachers, like how they are struggling very hard to understand the technology, and also struggling very hard to bring the students to the schools as well. And for them, that device was a very incentivized thing. It's like an incentive. So they were using our PAL ecosystem to bring students to school. Otherwise, the parents, they were using their children to go to the farm, do the farming, such kind of things. So there were one teacher. What she had done, she had converted her home into a hostel kind of thing, where at the time of school examinations, he just, I mean, from nearby villages, he collects 13 14 girls were there, which were forced to do the farming due to the financial conditions. But what she did, she before 1 month of the examination, she took the whole girls to their place. She cooks food for them. She used our parent system to make them learn. She also arranged tuitions for them, because she was I think a science teacher. She arranged the tuition for English, for mathematics and such. And then basically she sort of basically make them, arrange them everything. And after that, all the girls get good grades in the examination. So this was the sort of basically experience that I have. And that teacher told me this particular story in my second visit. So the first time when I was training her, she was very active, she was very keen on learning. Though she was very old, her hands were shaking, but she learned that way. But next time, after 6 months, when I revisit that place to gather the information, like how everything is going, then I get to that story.
Has there been an experience with you that has changed your perspective?
It hasn't changed, it has strengthened. I think I wasn't fully buoyed by the idea of chatbot delivering learning, but they were one of the value bots when we launched for the teachers, because which would more be seen as a compliance bot, there would always be some resistance from the teachers. But few initial launches were like, even before the formal launch, teachers using it because they could discover that value. That was a moment where I realized, yes, this works. And second was the which I felt was not simple enough, because it wasn't a chatbot, it was the first mini app that we were taking to ground. But surprisingly, the resistance which we had expected, which we normally see in other solutions, had not come in. So that yes, we are designing or shaping the products in the right way
For teachers.
For teacher use cases.
On the other spectrum is the children. Do you think our users can tell us what they want? Have there been times wherein you felt like, okay, the users are telling me exactly what they want, I should just build that?
Well,
Not really.
not really, yeah. Sometimes they do have some like wants, right, or needs, but I feel like it's always not it's not straightforward, right? And then there are also instances where what they want is actually not good for them. From like, as an academician, like, somebody who has built educational products, like there are things they will ask for where I'm like, ये नहीं करना चाहिए आपको, so yeah. So for example, like one 10th class student in Hindi speaking state was like, ये English subject के questions मैम हमको मतलब हम नहीं करना चाहते हैं, लाइक क्यों, ये हिंदी में होते तो अच्छे होते हैं, लेकिन नहीं, दैट इज नॉट द पॉइंट. You want them to keep engaging, you want them to do learn all of that, but sometimes you have to figure out how to give them what we want them to do, but also in a way that they want to do it. Right.
What is the most ridiculous feedback that you got that you took seriously and it worked?
I don't think we take any ridiculous feedback seriously. But see, the thing is, like, for again, like going back to the English versus Hindi thing only. So, like, we know that the app caters to like multiple languages, vernacular in all of the regions that we are present in. And during onboarding, the very first screen is language selection screen, right? And then English speaking or learning English is also aspirational in many places in the country. So sometimes they don't know, or they aren't as fluent as capable of navigating the app in English, but they will choose English. And then and then they will start working on it and they'll be confused, they'll be bamboozled कि अच्छा क्या करना है आगे, इसमें मुझे नहीं समझ आ रहा है. So yeah, they're just funny things like that.
I have a fundamental question that I ask myself a lot of times. This is mostly for you because you've been working on PAL. So there are so many learning products out there, right? People have been building learning products for the last 30 years. In some way, shape, form, they've been building learning products, right? Maybe all of you have some idea or opinion about it, but what makes you believe that what you're doing is going to work?
In one of the years, 8th graders were passing out. These were mostly girl students. And because they were passing out, they would no longer be in that school. They would shift to a secondary school, senior secondary, and they no longer will have access to PAL. So in their farewell, so during teenagers, farewell, we all know how important it is for us, right? We get ready, makeup, and it's one of the celebratory days. And on that day, these girls, children, students are crying that they will not get their hands back on PAL product. Right, in PAL labs. On one of the most important days in teenage, these students are crying for that while leaving the school. That's a highlight for them. It's a core memory for them, right?
मतलब कुछ तो सही कर ही रहे हैं.
Yes, there must be something that we are doing in the product that made them feel that emotional and that attached.
So I have a story for SwiftChat, the one we were discussing. So one of my friend's mother, she is a government teacher. So while she was introducing me to her, she said he's working with ConveGenius. Then she actually recognized me with ये वही product है क्या वो SwiftChat जो test वगैरह कर रहा है. Then okay, this is something that we are building big because people are recognizing you because of
Actually, for a very small company, that's a very big thing.
Yes. Yeah. So that's how I got to know, okay, I'm doing something good, pretty huge. That is impacting others.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's one story that I have. And
ये
the
तो
second one was with Harpreet while I joined in, I was understanding the product and everything.
2.5.
Yeah, the 2.5. So he used to narrate every story to me that okay, 2 में ये problem थी, 1 में ये problem थी. We are catering the places where even roads are not there. And then like it was a huge aha moment also for me that okay, we are at a place where even government can't build roads.
Yeah.
So that is a very huge thing. And if we are targeting those areas, then we are building something very impactful.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a pretty big moment for me.
तो इसने जब तुझे 2.5 पहली बार explain किया था, तेरा क्या reaction था?
I was like, अच्छा ठीक है. मैंने कहा, why are we building without internet? मैंने कहा, I'm a back-end engineer.
What am I supposed to do here?
Then the entire conversation happened after like 2 to 3 weeks. I came to know, okay, we are building something huge.
That's good to know. I was a lost soul, like a lot of you. College का खत्म हो गया 4 साल खत्म हो गया, and I was like, I still don't know anything. I came here to learn something, but I haven't really learned anything. Colleges में ज़्यादा कहाँ कुछ पढ़ाते हैं. So I was still like blank. The only thing that I had learned in that time was how to teach, because I used to actively engage with the community right behind my college. I used to go and teach children almost every day. There were some students that I helped sort of improve their performance a lot. तो मुझे ये समझ में आ गया था कि मुझे पढ़ाना आता है. फिर मैंने वही किया. So I sort of figured out a way to start a not-for-profit, got some funding from here and there. Started as not-for-profit and started working with children from shelter homes. So I've identified some 5-6 shelter homes in a 30 kilometer radius, government-run shelter homes that needed a lot of help. तो उनके लिए मैं fundraising करके वहाँ पे जाता था, visit करता था, करवाता था. Then it sort of slowly it grew and became an organization of 100 people.
Oh,
And yeah,
100 employees.
not employees with volunteers. Like there were some 6 employees, but a lot of volunteers
Thick.
who would sort of like college volunteers and some working professionals who would want to sort of visit some place and do something, but they didn't know what, or their impact was not additive. Like somebody going in for a day and just doing random thing doesn't really add to the next person sort of coming and doing something random. So I sort of designed a system in which people could still go randomly, but would know exactly what to do.
हाँ भाई यूजर के लिए वो इंक्रीमेंटल होगा चाहे कोई हर कोई पढ़ाने जा रहा है चाहे नित्य पढ़ाने जा रहा है.
So that was my first design problem also that I worked. And I realized that okay, so I did 2 things at the same time, which is one, to realize how to sort of create a system wherein this problem could be solved both for the user, which was the child, and also for somebody who's willing to take out 2 hours randomly. And then I realized a little bit ki, oh, acha, maybe I can do design. I also explored art schools to understand design a little bit more. Then I thought that maybe my passion is not really design but education, because everything is happening around education. So I, okay, let's just stick to education. Then I was going to the US for some course in education and entrepreneurship and all of that. That's when I met Shashank. So जब मैं मिलने आया था ना शशांक से, तब I was already going to a university in the US. But all of that was happening. And I come in and he's like, oh, this is your team. I'm like, sorry, what?
I still remember that day.
अभी 5 second
I remember
पहले
that
I
day.
was going to the US the next month.
And in the evening, Shashank, basically introduced with Shikhar that he will be the one who would be taking care of the learning content.
Yeah, I'm like, sure, okay, but you mean like for a month, right? But yeah, I mean, I took a deference for a year because I started enjoying what I was doing. So I was like, okay, I just told them that I'm exploring something. Give me some time. They agreed. I took a deference for a year, but like I think 3-4 months into it, actually I had an important realization that my own strength is that I understand education and that I like design. And the next best thing that I realized was that the only thing missing from education is actually design. So I thought maybe I could fill that gap.
And when you say understand education from a teaching lens,
No, just education,
Okay.
just learning sciences.
Hmm.
Not from a content perspective, not from any perspective, but just from a learning science perspective as to how education happens or how learning happens. And that design is a very important part of it. Is why I realized, oh, acha, this is what I need to work on. And my obsession for product and all of that is usually aimed at the same thing. It's never around anything else.
Back in initial days, I don't remember. I mean, we were designing some kind of learning module, right? And I actually love that modules right now. If you see the V1 of our, then there were some kind of books, that interactive books that we designed on the HTML. So we design it, by very hard and everything, and then Shikhar, come at the end of the day and see and say like, this color is not going with that thing. And we would like, okay, now what color should be put? And he said that we will figure it out and just leave us. So, but eventually, we started to understand Shikhar, and he, somehow subconsciously implant a kind of thing that we also started to learn the color psychology for the students. Like, this is too dark color, we shouldn't use that much. You should use bright color, pastel colors, so that students get engaged in our platform. And eventually we learned that we started creating very interactive books, and it was a very good journey. I mean,
I still remember that time. It's quite. Quite something.
My question to you is like, what do you think is the problem that we are solving that Silicon Valley of India is not solving?
See, I mean, people are okay. So my understanding, I think I was recently speaking to somebody about this, is that usually if I'm an entrepreneur in any other industry, I would have invested a lot of my time in figuring out a business model first before doing anything. That would have been my go-to step one. मुझे पहले धंधा figure out करना है कि कैसे होगा. Unfortunately or fortunately, in education, it cannot be business first, right? And I think most of the conversations or most of the arguments also that we as founders, co-founders have are centrally around this. Luckily, we are always aligned that it can't be business first, because ConveGenius, all four of us and everybody else also involved has spent a lot of years in actually trying to figure out what the learning model is first. And I feel like I'm obsessed with it. I'm like, learning हम figure out नहीं कर सकते तो हमें नहीं करना चाहिए. हम toothpaste बना लेंगे लेकिन हम ये नहीं करेंगे. So that is my this thing, that if I can't put have a conviction about how learning will happen, then I don't want to take your money. I don't want only your money. If you are ready to take it for free, take it. Otherwise, I don't want your money. Right? So, education, most people have failed. Everywhere in the world, most people have failed in trying to go education first and then figure out a business model. That is something that CG has done, and it's done it over the years. Like, मतलब वो 10 साल इसलिए हमें लग गए. नहीं तो बहुत आसान होता ना, मतलब जैसे a lot of companies ended up doing in India, they figured out a business model. They cashed everything, and now they're like sort of back to zero. That's where my conviction comes from. Okay, back to a more fun round. बहुत serious conversations हो गए. We'll do a rapid fire round. Yeah, I will try to be as rapid as possible, but please you also try to be as rapid as possible. Okay, we'll start this side. If you were a feature, what would you be?
Alert.
Alert. Okay, cool. Alert or SOS? Alert.
Alert.
Not SOS. Okay. Most underrated skill for product managers.
Customer empathy.
Okay. Okay. Delhi or Punjab?
Punjab.
Okay. Your go-to person at CG?
Prateek.
Acha, your favorite other product manager to work with?
Harpreet.
Harpreet is becoming popular, man.
Product delivery manager. Product manager.
If you were to leave a message for a new intern, what would that be? A product intern.
Have fun. Come to office daily.
So, one tool you can't live without.
Unfortunately, mobile.
Okay. If you had to go back in the past and meet one person, anywhere, anyone, who would that be?
Saurav Ganguly, मतलब आज भी मिल सकता
हाँ,
हूँ, पास नहीं है, but I'm no longer his fan now. So
Oh, you're not his
perspective
fan.
से. So
You would have liked to meet him.
I was a
when you were
hardcore 2003 to 2011 cricket fan when I wanted to be a cricketer.
Your favorite action hero?
I don't watch movies.
You don't watch movies? Oh wow, we need to have a conversation. Okay, that was rapid enough with Sahib Deep saying. Let's move on to you. Dark mode or light mode?
Dark.
Coffee or tea?
Nothing.
Favorite action hero?
Iron Man.
Marvel or DC? Marvel. I'm assuming.
Marvel.
Most fun product launch you worked on?
PAL 2.5.
If you were a feature, what would you be?
Learning module.
What?
बहुत ज्ञान देता हूँ मैं टीम में.
तो ये भी बता दे. One new message for a new intern.
All the best.
One tool you can't live without.
One what?
One tool you can't live without.
Technology. Like
Your favorite team member?
no favorites.
I don't.
That
play
was
favorites.
diplomatic.
I don't I don't buy that.
No favorites. Till now, no favorites.
As your favorite product manager bata देते हैं. Have you
Most
worked with many product managers?
most conversation with Harpreet till now.
What keeps you up at nights?
कल सुबह जाना है, खत्म करना है इसे.
Okay, good. That was quite rapid. Thank you, Snehal. We move on to. Help me. You are the talk of the town somehow. तुम्हारा जिक्र पिछले पॉडकास्ट में भी हुआ था. Okay, this is your rapid fire round, Harpreet. One thing you would never tell your team to do.
Stay awake at night for work.
Because you want to do that yourself. What's one project you're really proud of?
I think ICT, PAL ICT.
One moment at CG that changed your life and it sort of made you believe that it's what it's meant to be. One moment at CG.
When I visited the place where ICT was sort of installed, PAL ICT was installed.
ICT was clearly the defining moment of this
Yes.
career. One food item, if you were to be a food item, what would it be?
I think sugar.
Sugar.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually. I thought you were going to say Rajma or something. Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
I thought you would
Hot
say.
chocolate nahi.
I mean, definitely fudge. Hot chocolate fudge. Preferably.
Okay, your most favorite drink,
Yeah, I think hot chocolate fudge.
and not my blood. Great. Most fun product launch you worked on?
I think the latest one, PAL 2.5.
2.5.
Yeah.
Most underrated skill for product managers?
Technology understanding. Understanding of the
I
technology.
wouldn't think that is underrated. Is that underrated?
I mean, it becomes a conflicting thing usually.
If you were a feature, what would you be?
I think FAQ button.
Sorry, what?
FAQ button.
I think people treat you like an FAQ.
Yeah.
FAQ button. Okay, yeah, that's it. Not so rapid, but we'll
Sorry.
take it. Next is Nitya, your rapid fire round.
Okay.
If CG were not an EdTech company, what else would it be?
Logistics tech.
Because you talked so much about ICT and installing, buying batteries.
And going to places where there are no roads, getting electricity,
Yeah.
like
I
so
agree.
many things.
Your go-to person at CG,
You
what is the most underrated skill for product managers according to you?
influence, being able to influence others.
That's beautiful. If you were a feature, you would be?
Probably like chat GPT kind of like bot, like
You would
somebody who answers like
Things.
questions. Yeah.
work from home or work from office?
Hybrid.
Okay. I see you've changed your answer in the last 1 month. One moment at CG that changed your life.
I think when I was still working on the English product, and then you were like, "Ki, acha, kal subah tak for this state, like we need to have this demo ready." And I was like, I have never used the CMS before. I don't know what to do. And then Shivangi was like, "Yes, I'll help you out." I was like, what an angel. मतलब next time I meet you, मैं तुम्हारे चरण छू रही हूँ. So,
One thing you would never tell your team to do.
Ignore user feedback.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tea or coffee?
Kadak adrak chai.
Your favorite action hero? Actually, first, Marvel versus DC.
Well, I don't know enough about to tell the difference between the two.
Really?
Sorry. Yeah.
Oh, achha, sorry. I think you're a Harry Potter fan.
Yes, I am a
You
Harry
just
Potter
said
fan.
Harry Potter.
Yes, for sure.
Harry Potter or Game of Thrones?
Huge. I have not seen Game of Thrones.
Favorite character from Harry Potter?
Minerva McGonagall.
I knew there was something weird coming my way. One tool you can't live without.
water bottle.
We will move to you now. So your rapid fire starts now. One thing you would never tell your team to do.
Working, beyond the office hours.
What's one project you're really proud of?
ICT.
Guys.
We have put so much effort in that.
I actually wanted to just go back and see the numbers. I mean, I if that was such a life-changing thing, I would want us to sort of continue doing it more. Okay, if you were a food item, what would that be? Easier ones.
I would be biryani.
Chicken biryani?
Yeah.
Oh, lovely. Work from home or work from office?
Hybrid.
What keeps you up at night? Except your baby?
If there is some problem going on, unless I solve it, I can't sleep.
Any problem?
Any problem.
Dark mode, light mode?
System settings. I mean, it's yeah. I mean, it shifts from day to night automatically.
Coffee or tea?
In morning, I take coffee. At evening, I take tea.
Please, I'm going to ask you a question very carefully. Please do not see both. I will kill you. Marvel or DC?
Marvel.
Okay, good. Your favorite action hero then?
Iron Man. Actually, I have two. Iron Man and Night.
Okay. Your go-to person at CG?
Shashank and Wipro.
Shashank and Viprav.
Yeah.
If you were a feature, what would you be?
Feedback and support.
Okay. Alright, that's it, guys.
Awesome.
Thank you for your time.